Everyone was shocked. It's a big challenge and I like it. I like to accept it. Him is a lose-lose. For me, it's the win-win.
I have never really the biggest server in comparison to...
Picture this for a second. A 20-year-old tennis player who has never reached a Grand Slam final, has never lifted a WTA Main Tour trophy, and sits at number 32 in the world rankings, somehow finds herself pulling in more money off the court than most major champions ever will. That is not a typo, and it is not clickbait. It is the actual reality surrounding Alex Eala right now. And once you understand how this happened, you will never look at tennis sponsorships the same way again. Between July 2025 and June 2026, Sportico's financial analyst calculated that Eala brought in at least $10 million purely from endorsements, appearances, and commercial partnerships, a number normally reserved for players who have already won something enormous, a Wimbledon title, a U.S. Open crown, an Olympic medal, something that justifies the check. But Eala's resume, at least on paper, does not have that yet. Her season record sits at 27 wins and 17 losses. And her total career prize money from actually playing tennis comes out to $871,438. Sit with that gap for a moment. Her prize money and her sponsorship money are not just different. They are operating in completely separate universes. And that disconnect is the entire story we're about to unpack, because something strange has been happening in women's tennis over the last year, and Alex Eala is standing right at the center of it. To really get why brands started throwing money at her before she had the hardware to justify it, you have to rewind to the 4th of July, this year, on Wimbledon's most iconic court. Eala, ranked outside the top 30, walked against the reigning defending champion, and somehow pulled off a win that included a second-set tiebreak so brutal it stretched all the way to 19 points. It was the kind of match that makes casual fans suddenly Google a name they've never heard before. 2 days later, reality caught up with her, and she lost in a round of 16 to Jasmine Paolini in 3 tight sets. Her Wimbledon run ended right there. But here's the twist that makes this whole thing fascinating. The sponsors weren't circling because of that win. They had already been circling for months, long before Wimbledon even started. So the obvious question becomes, why would global brands commit serious money to an athlete who hadn't broken through yet? The easy answer, the lazy answer, is to call a hype, to assume the market got overexcited and a correction is coming, like a stock that's about to crash back down to reality. Except the numbers don't behave like hype at all. Sportico's list of that 12-month stretch placed Eala inside an extremely small group of 7 women who each cleared $10 million in off-court income, and sitting right next to her name was Naomi Osaka, a 4-time Grand Slam champion. Both of them, by the way, finished outside the top 10 highest-paid tennis players overall, which tells you something important. This isn't about total dollar amount bragging rights. It's about which category you get sorted into. And the fact that a player with 0 majors is filed into the same bracket as a 4-time major winner means the market isn't evaluating Eala as some rising prospect anymore. It's pricing her like an established commercial force. Now, before we go further, we need to clear something up, because the internet has not been kind to the truth here. Over the past year and a half, wild rumors have spread across social media claiming Eala signed a $45 million racket deal with Wilson, a $2 million partnership with Emirates Airlines, and even a supposed $5 million in-person offer from Bernard Arnault himself for Louis Vuitton, delivered right after her opening win at the U.S. Open. None of it happened. Fact-checkers at the Asian Journal specifically investigated these claims and confirmed they were fabricated stories, spreading mainly through engagement farming Facebook pages targeting the Filipino diaspora community online. In reality, Eala is still sponsored by Babolat for her racket and continues wearing Nike on court, nothing close to those invented numbers. But here's what's actually interesting about those fake stories. It's not that they're false, it's that they're believable enough to spread in the first place. Nobody invents a fake Louis Vuitton offer for a player nobody cares about. The fact that people found this rumor plausible tells you the public already senses she's operating at a level the rankings haven't caught up to yet. So let's actually walk through her real endorsement portfolio, because it tells a much more interesting story than any fabricated headline could. Globe Telecom, one of the biggest telecom companies in the Philippines, signed her when she was just 8 years old, years before she had any professional ranking whatsoever. That's a company betting on potential, before there was any statistical reason to. Nike handles her on-court apparel. Babolat supplies her racket equipment. The Bank of the Philippine Islands, one of the oldest and most respected financial institutions in the country, brought her on as an ambassador for financial literacy programs aimed at younger generations. And in July of last year, she became the face of Locally Juice, a homegrown Philippine beverage brand. Every single one of these deals is fully documented and verifiable, no rumors attached, and combined with whatever undisclosed partnerships exist behind the scenes, this is what pushed her past that $10 million threshold according to Sportico's estimate. So here's the real pivot point of this whole story. This isn't about Alex Eala being overpaid. This is about sponsors identifying something that the ranking system simply hasn't measured yet. And that something is her ability to move audiences in a way tennis hasn't seen from a player at her ranking in a very long time. Take Indian Wells back in March. Her tournament debut in the California desert. The crowd she pulled were so massive that Coco Gauff, playing on a completely different court nearby, actually addressed the audience directly during her own match. Gauff told the crowd, according to the tournament's own official coverage, that she appreciated everyone showing up, even joking that she knew most of them were really there to see Alex, adding that it was still nice to play in front of a packed court regardless. Think about that for a second. Coco Gauff, a former U.S. Open champion and reigning French Open champion, standing on her own court, essentially acknowledging that the crowd showed up for someone else. That's not some regional story limited to Filipino fans. That's a full-blown market signal that the tennis world can't ignore. And it wasn't just Gauff who noticed. Gigi Salmon, the lead tennis presenter over at Sky Sports in the UK, spoke about this phenomenon earlier this year in an interview with Tennis 365, describing what she witnessed covering Eala's matches. She recalled Miami the year before, saying she'd spoken with Eala a few times during her surprising run to the semifinals, and that the crowd energy was extraordinary. Then she brought up this year's tournament in Dubai, describing the atmosphere as feeling like a full-blown pop concert, comparing the screaming crowd energy to something you'd expect at Taylor Swift's show, not a tennis match. She went as far as to say that in terms of pure fan pull, Eala might already be the single biggest draw in the sport. Remember, this was a player sitting outside the top 30 in the rankings at the time, and a respected broadcaster is comparing her crowd energy to a global pop superstars concert. That's the moment you realize traditional tennis logic doesn't apply here anymore. Normally, sponsorship follows results. You win a major, then the deals roll in afterward. That's been the formula for decades. Eala completely flipped that sequence. The commercial interests arrived first, and the on-court results are still trying to catch up to justify it retroactively. The real calculation brands are making isn't how many trophies she's won. It's how many eyeballs tune in the second she steps onto a court, and on that metric, she's already dominating. Nobody put this dynamic into words better than Kim Clijsters, a four-time Grand Slam champion and former world number one. Someone whose opinion carries serious weight in the sport. Speaking on the Love All podcast with Blair Henley earlier this year, Clijsters described the pressure Eala carries, comparing her fame directly to being like Michael Jordan, specifically Michael Jordan in the Philippines. She explained that people don't realize how overwhelming that level of scrutiny actually is in daily life, saying it's not something you can just brush off. She followed that up with a genuine warning, stressing how important it is that Eala gets protected from the chaos surrounding her fame so she can keep her focus purely on her tennis. Think about how significant that comparison actually is. This isn't some random fan hyping her up online. This is a legend of the sport comparing the scale of Eala's cultural footprint to one of the most recognizable athletes in human history. And that comparison makes total sense once you understand the math behind it. Because Michael Jordan in the Philippines isn't really about basketball at all. It's about what total commercial saturation looks like inside a country of over 115 million people. And that's exactly the kind of reach sponsors are pricing into their contracts. There's actual strategic logic behind why brands like Louis Vuitton, the real Louis Vuitton, not the fabricated version from social media, will look closely at someone like Eala. It's not just about the Philippines itself. It's about the entire diaspora network spread across the United States, Canada, Japan, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Singapore, and Australia, plus broader interests across Southeast Asia as a whole. When Eala played in Dubai back in February, that arena wasn't just full, It was full of people who had booked flights specifically be there, traveling from places nowhere near Dubai just to watch her play. The comparison that keeps coming up in sponsorship and marketing circles is Emma Raducanu, and Tennis 365 made that connection explicit in their coverage back in March. Both players exist at this unusual intersection where tennis skill meets cross-continental cultural relevance. Both have fan bases that show up in numbers way out of proportion to where they sit in the rankings. Raducanu's stunning U.S. Open win back in 2021 triggered an endorsement wave worth tens of millions before her ranking had even stabilized afterward. Eala, according to Sportico, is already sitting inside that exact same financial tier, except she hasn't won a Grand Slam and doesn't hold a single main tour singles title. Her only real tournament victory came at a WTA 125 event in Guadalajara back in September of last year, where she became the first Filipina ever to win a WTA Challenger level tournament. That's a genuine milestone we're celebrating, but it's still not a main tour trophy, which means the sponsorship money showed up before the trophies did, not after. Now, none of this erases the very real questions still surrounding her game. When she lost to Jasmine Paolini in that Wimbledon round of 16 match in early July, going down in 3 tough sets on a scorching afternoon, it was a blunt reminder that she can still be outlasted by higher-ranked opponents in decisive moments. Earlier this year, after dropping a 3-set match to Alicia Parks at the Australian Open, the online backlash got intense enough that Rafael Nadal himself publicly stepped in to defend her from criticism.